Welcome back to the next part of building my workshop out here on the property. In today's video, we're going to talk about two things that have been very frequently asked. First and foremost, why have we not anchored the workshop? Spoiler, that gets done today. And two is going to be a talk about all sorts of different things related to permits, building inspections, codes, and legalities of building a structure such as this where we live. Let's go. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and jump into the cool thing, the new tool, the new toys, and anchor this building to the ground. Alright guys, I have our shed anchor kit, and I'm really excited to show you guys this. This is from American Earth Anchors, and just check it out. Yeah. What you are looking at is an 18-inch long forged aluminum ground anchor. It is basically a giant aluminum screw. 2-inch diameter, 2-inch head, one of the two, probably 2-inch head, square drive, and this guy is designed to hold down sheds or honestly anything you want. When it is put into the ground with our soil type, it is rated for a 2,000 pound strength as far as pull strength. So when we add 4 of these, we're going to have 4 tons of holding power with our workshop to the ground. So I have a set of 4, or well, not a set, I purchased 4. So there's 4 of those guys, and then I got these loops. You can buy these separately. These are designed to go on the anchors. They thread on this way, all the way up to the top, and then that goes in the ground, and this is what you then attach to your structure. These loops are made to where they will not go over top of the head of the anchors, so no worries there. And these are 1/4-inch aircraft grade stainless steel cable that is super strong. Very cool. As far as attaching this to my workshop, I picked up some 3/8 by 3.5-inch lag screws. This is not from the company, so don't consider this what they offer or sell. This is just from the hardware store. I'm going to loop this around and I'll pull it tight, and this will act as my anchor or connecting point from the skids to the ground. So I have the 4 ground anchors, and then I got 4 cables or loops. And then I have my 4 lag bolts with various size washers. As far as installation, I have a wrench for my lag bolts, a socket in the pocket, socket for the lag bolts, and then this guy. Yep, a new tool. Let's check it out. So these ground anchors that I got are square drive. They're 1/2-inch square drive, which means you could put a ratchet onto them, you could use an impact gun or whatever to just drive them into the ground. What I'm going to be using to install these anchors is this, a new tool. This is the Craftsman model CMC F900 impact wrench. This is not an impact driver. Drivers are for driving screws, wrenches are for tightening bolts or driving monster screws into the ground. This is a cordless tool. It works with all of our other cordless systems, so that is cool. I just bought the tool itself. I have plenty of batteries and chargers at this point, so I just wanted the tool, and this should make super quick work for driving these screws into the ground. Now, by all means, you don't have to buy a brand new tool, so don't think that you have to have it for your install. You could definitely do this with a T-handle driver. They sell this at the company as well. A regular automotive 1/2-inch ratchet would work. Basically whatever you can get that fits into the anchor you purchase, and you can get it into your ground. Where we are on our property, we have a good soft and fluffy 6 inches of fluff or soil. Below that is what's considered hard pan, and it is definitely a hard pan. So that's why I decided to go with the impact wrench. Hopefully it'll work great, but honestly I'm not going to know until we get out there and actually start putting this in the ground. Alright, here we are at the front corner. I use my loop here, and I think I've got enough distance here to attach to my beam, and yeah, it's going all the way down to my paver-based footings down there. Got a little bit of water in the hole because we had some rain, but it's okay. This will still work out fine, and especially once I backfill it, that'll just be a little bit extra down there too. I'm going to go ahead and use my 9/16" socket and attach the lag bolt into my beam first. Let's put this in about the middle here. Make sure I leave enough room for that cable to go over the end of it. I'll go ahead and thread my anchor through here. Go ahead and tighten this up just a little bit more with the anchor lag screw. There we go. I don't want to overdo it just yet. I want to make sure I have enough length and everything. Now it's as easy as driving this down into the ground. Make sure I put my cable on the right side of the block. Sure, leave enough room for my cable. There we go. I gotta say, those anchors went really well. This impact wrench is awesome. It is a kind of a specialty tool. You're not gonna really use this with home renovations, but for us, as far as doing this kind of application, but also having this to work on vehicles, it's gonna be a tool that we're gonna use pretty often, and so it was worth it for us to purchase it. Again, if you don't have this kind of tool and you're looking for this kind of anchor system, there are like hand ratchets you can buy. You can use automotive ratchets, or you could probably also rent a tool if need be. I know it gets said a lot and it's really kind of a cliche, but honestly with those anchors, I don't believe this is going to go anywhere. Okay, within, you know, certain reality and, you know, limitations, I guess. If nothing else, probably the floor will be left after whatever hits it. Either way, this suffices for our needs to anchor it down. This gives us 4 tons worth of lifting capacity or holding strength to keep this building stable in any kind of high winds, storms, earthquakes, whatever. Hit it with a vehicle, who knows? It shouldn't be going anywhere. And lastly, this ticks all the boxes required for our local jurisdiction as far as codes, building requirements, and things that our county oversees and says on a project such as this. This is not a sponsored video, but if you're interested in checking out this company's anchors, I'll leave a link to them down below. We bought these with our own money, and we are happy with them, so we are happy to share the link with you guys and let you go check it out as well. They don't only just sell this style anchor, they sell a lot of different anchors for grounds for things such as buildings, structures, industrial uses, homes, trampolines, swing sets, all sorts of stuff. So if you're looking for something to anchor your something to the ground, go check them out. So that completes the anchoring of the shed down to the ground, which, like I said earlier, is a requirement of our county. But part 2 of this video is all about those codes and permits. What do we do? What do we not do? What are we required to do in our area where we live? Let's jump into that. Anytime we share a project of whether it be renovation or building something, whether it be our greenhouse we built, our sheep barn, renovating our home, doing any kind of electrical work inside the house repair-wise, or building a workshop such as this, inevitably we get asked the question kind of frequently, What did you have to do for permits? What did you do for building codes? Are there no permits where you live? And stuff along those lines. We usually don't answer those, and it's not because we don't want people to know or we are just skirting legalities and going off in fringe land. It's more because even if you're doing the same project, unless you and I are identical, location, building structure, counties, everything, it's not going to be the same thing for you guys. So generally, we don't talk about it. However, I think in this video, since I'm already doing the shed anchoring and that was done, which is a requirement of our county, it figured a good time to go ahead and talk about permits, requirements, and just general legalities of what it's taken for us to build this structure here on our property. Where we live, this is out in the country. We are not in any kind of town limits, city limits, HOA restrictions, neighborhood things, or zoning of pretty much any kind. There is zoning, but there's no like restricted or strict zoning. However, that does not mean that we are outside of building codes or permits for building structures in this county. Where we are, we only have to pull a building permit for a structure if it's larger than a 10 by 12 building. If it is a purely agricultural structure, something such as a barn, there are no permits required. However, this is not a barn, this is a workshop, we did get a permit for this. That's as simple as going into our local building department, saying, hey, I want to build a workshop, it's this size, this style, and yeah, what do we got to do? It's very easy. Your local county office will walk you through everything you need as far as a permit, any kind of specific regulations or hoops they want you to jump through, and then they'll pretty much tell you what they want and take your money. For our location, our county requires that the structure be anchored on opposing corners, which is the ground anchors we did today on the 4 corners, plus they want to come out and inspect the framing since this is a structure I'm building myself. What they're looking for generally is that I am using graded kiln-dried lumber. I'm not trying to use a sawmill and build something that's riddled with worms and bugs, and that I'm framing things to be safe. It's a very low-key thing for a structure such as this, but that's also because this is just a storage building, an outbuilding. This isn't a house, this isn't a living quarters, this isn't a commercial structure, and again, we are out in the country. Well, that's going to be it for this video. I just wanted to make it a very pinpoint subject-oriented video to show you guys how we anchored the workshop to the ground and talk a little bit about our local jurisdictions, permits, building codes, inspections, and all the legalities around what we ourselves are going through to build a structure such as this. If you have any questions or comments, anything I didn't cover fully in the video, or something that I really just totally blew by and should have talked about, leave me a comment down below.